Dear students, I am Professor Meet Bakotia from Mechanical Engineering Department to explain you the practicals of basic mechanical engineering. Now you know guys that since a year you are not in college and these unprecedented timings have not us let do the one-on-one offline teaching. The pandemic has hit us very badly and the situation is very terrible. But to convert that terrible situation into a terrific one is our job, the teachers. Since you are not able to come to college, we are going to shoot the videos of your practicals and explain you the concepts in the nicest manner. So let us start with the first topic, that is clutch. I'll be showing you the working model of the centrifugal clutch. So first let us see the parts of the centrifugal clutch. So students, this is the driver side. The engine will transmit motion and power to the driver side, and when the clutch will get disconnected, the power and motion will be transmitted from driver to driven side. So let us understand the parts of the driver side shaft. Now see students, with the driver shaft is attached the 4 shoes, 1, 2, 3 and 4 shoes. On the 4 shoes you can see 4 spiders, 1, 2, 3 and 4 spiders. Inside the spiders there are going to be compression springs, and on top of the shoes you can see this is the friction lining, Faraday lining, right? So the other side, if you see the parts, then to the driven side is attached one outer casing. Now let us understand the functioning of the centrifugal clutch. When the speed of the engine is very less, you can see that only the driver member is rotating, because now at this time the shoes have not moved in the outward direction and the friction lining of the driver shaft and driven shaft are not in contact. So right now the motion and power from driver to driven is not transferred. But when the speed of the engine will increase, the Faraday lining or the friction lining of the driver shaft will go and connect with the friction lining of the driven shaft, and the motion will be transferred from driver shaft to driven shaft. But again, when the speed of the engine will be less, the spring inside will compress and bring the shoe as well as the friction lining back to its position, and due to lesser speed, the motion from driver side will not be transmitted to the driven side. Again, when the speed will increase, the friction lining of the driver shaft and driven shaft will connect, and you can see here the motion is transmitted from the driver shaft to the driven shaft. I hope you understood the working and parts of the centrifugal clutch. Thank you so much students.
Vehicle. Now you can see the parts. There is a driving member and a driven member. The driving member consists of a spider, spring and shoes, while the driven member consists of a Faraday lining, that is a friction lining on its inner surface. Now the centrifugal clutch works on a very simple principle of centrifugal force. Centrifugal force is an outward force which causes the motion of part to move in outward direction. In the diagram you can see that when speed of the driving member is less, you can see the speed is less, so there is no motion transmission to driven member. But when the speed of the driving member increases, an outward centrifugal force is caused, which causes the shoes to move in outward direction, and the friction lining of driving member and driven member comes in contact, and motion is transmitted from driving member to driven member. Again, when the speed of engine shaft will be less, what will happen? The spring will compress and bring the shoes to its own place, and because of that the contact between the driving member and driven member will be lost, as you can see in the diagram. Thank you very much.
We have understood clutch, couplings, and now let us go through the basic understandings of what is a brake. We all know the meaning of brake, B-R-A-K-E. Brake means that when the driver presses the lever, either the vehicle retards its motion or it will stop. So one such brake, let us understand, it is called as a band brake. Let us first see the parts of the band brake and then I will explain you the functioning of the band brake. Now see students, this is your wheel vehicle, right? So this is the vehicle of your wheel, and suppose if you want to apply the brake to this vehicle, then you just have to press this lever. Once the lever is pressed, the band which you can see over here, that is going to come in contact with the wheel. Friction will take place, and because of that friction the wheel will stop. Let us see the working. I am first rotating the vehicle to let you understand that our vehicle is moving with the speed. Now when I apply the lever, you can see over here, because of pressing the lever, the band came in contact with the wheel and our vehicle stopped. Let us do it again. If I am rotating the vehicle and once I will press this lever, you can see the band came in contact with the wheel, the friction happened, and that's why the brake was applied and the vehicle stopped. I hope you understood the functioning of the band brake. It is very easy. Thank you so much for watching the video, students. Thank you very much. Dear students, now let us understand the functioning of a coupling. What does a coupling do and how is it different from the clutch? Coupling, as the word suggests, it couples the two shafts with each other. But it is a fixed joint. Once you have coupled the two shafts with each other, then they will only be disconnected once you remove the nut bolts of those parts. But clutch is different from coupling in such a manner that as and when the driver presses or releases the lever, the driver shaft and driven shaft can be disconnected or connected as and when the driver requires. So one of that such couplings is an Oldham coupling. So let us understand first the parts of the Oldham coupling and then I am going to explain you the working of the Oldham coupling. So let us see students. Now see students, these are the two shafts which needs to be coupled. Why? Because in industries, suppose if there are long shafts and we have mounted some gears, pulleys on those shafts, then there are chances of the shaft to break. But if we do not want shafts to break, then we cut the shafts in small sizes and then we couple with the couplings. So that is the main function of the coupling. Let us understand this is shaft 1 and shaft 2 which I want to connect. Now here the best part of Oldham coupling is that you can see the axis of the two shafts is not similar. The axis of the two shafts is coaxial, means one shaft is having axis at a little bit above distance than the below shaft. They are not coaxial with each other, they have some eccentricity with each other. So students, now as the shaft will rotate, you can see here, this is link 1, this is link 2. Link 1 is attached to shaft 1, link 2 is attached to shaft 2, and in between the slots of link 1 and link 2 there is link 3 which is rotating as well as sliding up and down. And in this manner you can see students that the motion is transmitted from shaft 1 to shaft 2. The maroon color link 1, the yellow color link 2 is just rotating, but this link 3 you can see it is rotating as well as it is moving up and down in the slots of link 1 and 2. Hence, the motion is transmitted properly from shaft 1 to shaft 2, and the two shafts are coupled in a proper manner. I hope you have understood the concept of Oldham coupling in a proper way. Thank you so much, students, for listening to this video.
Let us start with the flange coupling. Flange coupling is another type of coupling. Couplings are used to connect a driving shaft to the driven shaft. They connect shafts that are collinear. Axes of the shafts are parallel. You can see here the two shafts share the same axis. Flange coupling is an assembly of the shafts, two flanges, keys, nuts and bolts. You can see the inner portion after we remove the bolts. The purple one flange which you are seeing, that is a flange of socket, and the yellow flange you are seeing, that is a spigot side socket, right? So one side is a socket side shaft and other side is the spigot side shaft. Shafts are placed in flanges. Then keys are inserted in keyways. Bolts, nuts. See, we are doing this. You can see here first one shaft is inserted, then keyways. In the keyway, the keys are inserted and the nut bolts are inserted. And finally, you can see that coupling transmits motion from driver to driven shaft.